Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com. It is Wednesday, April 9th. So, in about 7 minutes till 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So, welcome to all the people that came from Jack's webinar yesterday. So, just going to go over the structure that I marked on the charts again, just because things are so wonky and I really don't see the value in calculating value areas when we have, 2,000 NQ ranges and 300 ES ranges, 300 point ES ranges. But I am calculating the ES bell point of control, and then hopefully we'll get back to business as usual here pretty soon. But yesterday's bell point of control was up at 52.90, where the previous day was at 5,020. So that's basically those uh, 270 points higher from where we were the previous day. So I'm also marking with this solid line that is your lower excess line, and then we have these dash lines are splits in the distribution, just where you can clearly see that we had swing lows and swing highs, uh, and then so we had a lower split on the Russell. Uh, Upper splits basically from that morning initial balance distribution, and then below it on the NASDAQ, the ES, the Dow, and then these boxes are single prints. They might appear a different color when you load my grid. It's just TOS doesn't lock those in, and I'm not going to hard code them. It's too big of a pain in the ass, but they'll show up as some color of blocks on your screen. But these are all single prints. And when you look at single prints, for those of you that are new, so there's a distribution basically, but this red dash line is the high of yesterday's bell. The green dash line is the bell low from yesterday. Now, when you look at yours, the red and green dotted lines will be different. That's going to be the overnight high and low from today. So as we and then the purple line is a settlement. That's what when you're above it, your screens are green for price changes for the day. You're positive from the previous day settlement. When it's below it, you're red. If you're exactly on it, you're gray. It's unchanged. So or white. But basically these single prints are divide the auctions, right? So there's an auction above the single print to the high of the day. There's an auction between these two single prints. There's an auction between these two single prints. There's an auction between the single print and the split. And there's an auction between the split and the excess line. And there was a mini auction between the excess line and the low of the day. So there's lots of little mini auctions in here. For us day traders, that's awesome because we can participate. Right? Long-term investors, I feel your pain. So what we're going to do today is just look at positioning real quick. So those positioning charts that I laid out. So basically for this week, for the cash market, 4,900 is your large gamma, right? And for today, 5,000 in the cash. Now, I'm not talking about the ES, I'm talking about the SPX, right? I think it was about a 35 point difference yesterday between the cash and the ES. So basically, the ES would be trading at 5,035 around when the SPX is trading at 5,000. So, anyways, 4,900 should be, and I always say should be because in the market, and I say this a lot, when what should happen doesn't happen, the opposite happens with equal magnitude and force. 4,900 should be your floor for the week now in the cash. So that would be around 4,930. If we start getting under there, it can actually pick up steam and start heading towards 4850. And if the VIX keeps rising, right, if when these levels break, you need the VIX to be rising. Uh, and when they hold, you want the VIX to be, at least staying still or falling. So basically, there's between 4,900 and 5,000 in the cash is your large gammas for today. You can see, if you look at, and I don't want you to get too caught up in it, but I want you to pay attention. So for the week, each one of these lines represents 5,000 contracts. For today, each one of these lines only represents 1,000. So, right, this is only 7,000 that's on 5,000. but they expire today. So if you get near it, it has power uh, while we're set on it. But you got over 35,000 at 4,900 compared to the 7,000, and those expire Friday, I believe. Yep. So then you got 7,000 here and 35,000 here. So you got 5 times as many at 4,900 for the week, but they have 2 more days left. There's really not a lot to glean from looking at the SPX. I mean, 490. We're currently trading 491 on the SPY. So 490 is going to be your little break point, and you can see you got 150,000 contracts there for the week, and today you got about just 15,000 of those are expiring today. So that's kind of your make or break line. Again, you can see the markets accelerating to the downside below there with a rising VIX, and potentially rising above it with a falling VIX. So there's your 490 is that. So we're trading 491.34. So that's about 13 points as I speak for the ES that would be higher. Uh, so, and then I'm not going to get into the Qs today. We'll hit them tomorrow, but there's really nothing really significant around. It's going to be the SP. Uh, it's going to be the S&P 500 that's driving the market today. I'm sure Jack will get in this when he does his video, but what I was watching yesterday, we were talking about is the bottom in or not, and I said, I don't know. We were actually trading around this 61.8 at the time. We were at yesterday's highs, and I said, I'm kind of hands off right now because we stalled right at a spot that, could be it. I don't want to just take a dead short. I want to see, what plays out from here. But basically, if this plays out, we're looking at basically 16,000 on the NQ and 4,700 on the ES if they complete, if they don't break. But we could, chop around here today or tomorrow or whatever. And don't forget, the title of my video is FOMC meeting minutes today at 2. If you trade with Take Profit Trader or some of the other brokerages that make you be flat before major news, for Take Profit Trader, this is a major news event. Your evals, you can trade through it, but if you have a Pro or a Pro Plus account, you have to be flat 1 minute before 2 o'clock with no pending orders, right? Flat and no positions on, no orders on there. And you can't pick it up until a minute after the news comes out. That doesn't mean you can start trading at 2:01 because the news might not come out right at 2. So I usually give it like 4 or 5 minutes just to be on the safe side. So you can, 3, 4 minutes, but you can watch the Forex Factory. You can start a little stopwatch if you want after you see it print there on everything that has, that the minutes are out, but there's not, anything really coming. You'll see stuff on Jack's news feed as well, but if you want to be safe, just wait till 4 minutes after 2 and then start your trading again. Why dick around with, your good cash accounts? So as we look at the structure that were looking through a little while ago, um, as we get here. So we've been filling in the excess in all these indexes from the excess low to the low of yesterday and through the low of yesterday. And you can see we stopped right at a previous split in the market for the Dow. That's basically right around S1 today, which is 36,889. Was pretty close to the low there. And we've got some, old single prints. If you right click on these boxes, you can see when these single prints are from. So if you right click on them, if you're interested, it's the oldest date. There's one's going to be way in the future, like 2030, and one's going to be, so this is from January 19th of this year, or I'm sorry, of last year. So these single prints were created on the chart January 19th of last year. So, 15 months ago, basically. And you can do that for any of the things I have on chart lines or whatever. The older date is the date of inception. So really what I want to see is, just keep your eye on the ball, watch the auctions, and, volatility is here and it's got headline risk. So, you really need to figure out where you want to do your brackets. I'm a wimp. I've just been playing 1 and 2 lot micros on the NASDAQ, which, it doesn't sound like a lot, but, one of those trades was for 750 points on Monday. So, on a one lot. So don't screw around, thinking you need to be in the size that you were trading all, before February. Because if you're still trading the size that you traded in February, you're probably not doing that great. Or you're extremely great and you're like probably have $1 billion by now. But anyways, watch these splits, see if we can get above them. They're your markers. Watch the initial balance. And remember, the initial balance after it broke yesterday, that's really what opened the floodgates. It broke to the downside, and then that's what really started us going. So if it does break, remember, it can always do a false break. So if it gets back up above there, and maybe Steve will pipe up in the chat room if he sees a false break. I know he used to like those trades. I'm not sure if he still monitors them or not, but if he sees something like that, he'll pipe up for sure. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm busy today. I got to help a friend this morning, and then I have a tracky mate that I run the timing for uh, on the computer system this afternoon. So I won't be around for the meeting minutes today. And it's, to be honest with you, I could use a break from this volatility anyway. So today will be a day of rest for me. You guys have a great day. Trade safe. Don't forget about those FOMC meeting minutes. If you got if you're trading with a partner that wants you to be flat before those. It's not on some of their calendars, but it's happening today, and you will get flagged for it and burn your account if you trade through it. Have a great day, and we'll see what Jack's looking at.